Okay, good morning, or should I say almost good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our quick live video. What we're going to do is we're going to do a Black Forest Gateau eventually. What I'm going to do is just rustle up the sponge, show you how to do that, and then we're going to go over to our studio in Hollywood to Jackie, who happens to be my dad as well. So we'll just introduce Jackie. This is Jackie, and he is in Hollywood. What are you going to be doing for today, Jackie? Just
Hi, everybody. I'm going to decorate a chocolate cake into the Black Forest Ghetto using some homemade runouts that I've already prepared. So basically, that's what I'm going to do.
okay, right. Thanks. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so what I've got here is the ingredients all weighed out, and obviously I'll just put up the recipe. So what I've got is 50 grams of flour. I've got 25 grams of corn flour and some cocoa powder mixed, and then 100 grams of caster sugar, 4 eggs, and I've melted some butter. So if you were making this just a normal vanilla sponge, you would use 100 grams of flour, okay? And you can also double up depending on the size of the sponge you want to make. For this one, just for demonstration, I've just got a 16-inch tin. So these ingredients will fill this up for you, okay? So I'll do a 16-inch tin. If you want to make a bigger one, then just double up or even triple up the ingredients, okay? And then that'll give you a bigger volume. So the crucial thing is sieving the cocoa powder with the corn flour and the flour, okay? So what I've done here, just to save a wee bit of time, I've sieved these two together into the bowl twice, okay? So you can do that before you start. Get yourself organized and make sure your bench is nice and clean and nice and tidy, okay? On here, I've got some water that I've brought to the boil, and it's kind of warm. And what it's going to do is heat up the ingredients, heat up the eggs and the sugar as we're mixing them in together, okay? So this is what you need to do when you're doing a genuine sponge. If you don't warm them up, then your sponge will drop, okay? So you need to warm them up, sort of cook them almost, just gentle heat, okay? So we're going to put in our eggs, like that. Making sure you've got no shell in there. So let's take, I just noticed a little bit of shell, so I'll take that out. Put it one side, wash my hands. And then what we're going to do is put in the caster sugar, okay? So there's 100 grams of caster sugar in there, 4 eggs in here, and then we just pour that in, like so. This is going to be a wee bit noisy, so what I'm going to do is put this over the hot water, and then we'll just switch to the other camera. We'll bring the other camera in. So I'm having to multitask here. My production manager's gone back to uni, so I need to do it all myself. And you'll notice my sidekick, Andrew, that used to be here, he's also decided to go back and leave me and go back to uni, so I'm having to do it all myself. So what I'm going to do is just whisk this up over the heat. Like so. This is going to take a wee bit of time, so we'll just go over to our studio in Hollywood. I've always wanted to say that. So I'll just go over to Jackie, and we can explain what kind.
Hi, everybody. What I'm going to do, get myself prepared to do the chocolate ghetto. I've already done a few runouts of chocolate, as you can see. I've got my cherries all ready to put on the top. I'm getting my piping bags ready. Paper piping bag, which I think I showed you one time before. All the necessary tools, such as your palette knife. I have a scraper and a comb scraper. And best of all, I have my arc or cake cutter for to cut the cake. So that's basically all you need, plus your creams all ready. once you've got all your creams, that's you ready for the start and decorate the cake. All you have to do from then on now is get the cake ready, get all rid of a lot of crumbs, and then cut it ready for decorating.
Okay, so thanks for that, and we'll come back to you once we get the sponge ready. Okay, so here you see that I've got the sponge already, and I'll just show you. So it's all ready to go. So what I'll do is I'll just move this cooker out of the road, suction knob, and just slide it over here. So what we've got is our sponge. You can see it's nice and light. Okay, so you're going to just gradually fold in the dry ingredients. Yeah, so just nice and carefully, just fold them in, just a little bit at a time, sieving it in, like so, and then just folding it in, like that. So you can see that on camera too, quite clearly, hopefully, yeah. So you can see I'm just being nice and gentle. I don't want to knock the air out of it. I'm just mixing it in. And you can see that I'm using a metal spoon. Some people use a wooden spoon. It just knocks too many air bubbles out of it. You know, you spent all that time putting a lot of air into it to make a nice light sponge. You don't want to be knocking the air out of it, like so. And then we just keep adding it in. So, and if you're watching from Castle Douglas High School, Miss McClurk will be pointing out all my mistakes, okay? So that's why we're doing all these mistakes on purpose, so that your teacher can point them out to you, okay? And that's why I didn't do the whisking live on camera, because I always get a row when I'm in the school for battering the whisks off the sides of the glass bowl. So that's why I've done that in secret while we went over to Hollywood. So I'm just folding that all in, just being nice and gentle, nice figure of 8, just getting all the dry ingredients, fold it in, and you'll see it will start to change colour, it'll start to get darker, like that. So then we just add some more in. And then just keep folding it in. Okay, so make sure that once you've whisked up your eggs and sugar, don't let them sit too long, or don't let the mix sit too long in the tins before you put it in the oven, or it'll drop. Okay, it'll drop in the middle. Yeah, so you want to just make sure that you've spent all that time putting the air in, and just keep folding it like that. So I'll just bring, he doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I'll just bring Jack again. Am I doing this all right?
It's looking good so far.
Very good. To start with, check. Yeah. All them years that you had the bakery and I never paid any attention. Wish I had it now.
Whenever you were learning it, you usually ate half of it.
Yeah, so I'm just folding that in and putting it in like that. When I'm doing this, I'm always conscious of the home economics teachers from the school watching me. I've got my dad watching me, who's been a baker since God knows when. And so I'm under 17, yeah. So I'm under a wee bit of pressure. Where was the first bakery you worked? Was it in Hollywood?
Oh, in Hollywood. I served my time in a place called Bell's, a home bakery in Hollywood. So I spent about 5 years there and then moved out to get more experience.
Good. Anyway, I'll just keep going with this. Keep adding it in, like so. And then I've got the final little bit, which I'll just add in, like this. I remember going to the bakery used to be outside the gate of the school. We had the own place. Anyway, I used to go in there and sometimes I'd help my dad cream the cream flans, which was, I thought they were lovely, but I don't know if you did, but yeah. I think I preferred eating them rather than creaming them. So you can see it, this is going to slightly lose a bit of its air, but I'm still trying to be really careful once I'm folding it in, just to make sure I don't lose too much. And then the last little bit of flour, just add that in. And then I'll just do this in front of the camera so you can see it a bit better on the screen. And just fold it in. So you can see it's all starting to come in together like that. And you can, I don't know if you can hear that, but you can hear all the bubbles within the mixture all kind of popping. So it's beautiful. So I've got that almost completely mixed in. So, and then I'll just take that camera out. So I've got it all mixed together, thoroughly mixed in. So then what I'm going to do is take some of the mixture out, put it into this bowl with the melted butter, like that. If you want to make a fatless sponge, you just take out the fat and don't put in the butter. But what will happen is if you take the butter out and you make it a fatless sponge, its shelf life will not be as long, okay? So it'll knock down the shelf life, so it'll not keep as long. So the reason why I'm putting this in separately is so as it doesn't knock out too much of the air, okay? So I'm just kind of mixing this in together. So you can see I'm being quite vigorous with it, and that's why I didn't want to put it in here to knock all the air out of it, okay? So I've mixed that in, completely mixed it in, and then I'm going to add that into my main mixture, and then just fold it in, okay? Got that, and then I'm just going to fold that in nicely into the mixture. And if you do it that way as well, it keeps the air in. Plus, when you bake it, it doesn't drop in the middle. Okay, so we're just doing that to make sure we keep all the air into it. After spending all that time, as I said before, mixing it up, you don't want to knock the air completely out of it. So then we're just going to place it in. So you can see at the bottom of that, I've put a little cartouche. Yeah, so that's just a bit of greaseproof paper that I've made up. Grease the tin, grease the greaseproof, and then I'm going to put that in on top of that. So I'm just going to place all that in. And then I'm going to put it into my oven, which is at 180. So it should take about 20 minutes, okay? So I'm just going to scrape down the bowl and put that in. So you can see it's all nice air bubbles. It's still got all the air in there. So it looks fantastic. Put that over on the side. Quick wash of the hands. And then I'm just going to pop this in the oven in the back kitchen. So this is a cake that I've done already. I'll just bring in the other camera so you can see it's ready to go. I baked this earlier on this morning to save a bit of time. And the best thing to do is to make sure if you bake it, leave it and then work with it the next day, because once you see the decorating stage, you'll see that it's easier to slice, okay? So if you leave it overnight and use it the next day, then it's a lot better. So what I'll do is I'll just hand it over to my dad, and then he can decorate over the gas. So here you go. You got it?
Thank you, Tony. That's really as good as mine. It's brilliant.
Okay, so over to you, and I'll let you do your bit, okay?
Right, I'll attempt to make your cake nice and pretty. So we'll take off the cartouche. And it's looking good, there's not much cream and much crumbs about. So what we do first of all is we get the cake cutter, which we call it a heart. It's just a fine wire and cuts it dead straight through it. So we'll do that first. That's the first layer, and then we set that bottom layer on your board, set that aside, and then we'll cut another layer. Set this down a bit. There we have it. A bit of some of our crumbs in case it gets into the cream. Now we start off with the bottom there, and what we do is we'll jam it with nice cherry jam which I made up yesterday. This not only looks good, but it adds a lovely flavour to your cake because the jam is a nice tart jam, it's not too sweet. So do with that. Then we get our piping bags, the chocolate, and we just run a circle round the outside. Then we run another circle, leaving a space between the circles. And then the dab in the middle. Then we take our cream, which we flavoured with the jam, and we fill in the space between them. Then we get our middle tier, and we gently give it a wee press, and we repeat the same thing again. Just run over. This here not only adds lovely flavour, but any loose crumbs about the place, it catches them and stops it from getting into your cream and so forth. And you repeat the next block, only this time you do it the opposite way around. You start off with your pink on the outside. It's more like a salmon colour, isn't it? And so far no bags bursting to this. So we're going way up. So you have the layers I got there. Then you get their next tier, top, get a wee press. Now comes the difficult part. Get our cream. And we start decoration. At this stage, just to bring it up a bit so as you can see it, I'll set it on the tin. It's much better. Now you don't have to do the sides if you don't want to, but When you're decorating the cake, you use your own ideas.
Can you put chocolate jelly or something like that on the side, or am I
What's
thinking
up?
too? Can you put like chocolate gratings or filings or whatever it is you call them?
Yes, it depends in the way you want to decorate your cake. You can get a lot of, get your chocolate and you can grate it in the small pieces, and then once you get the cream on it, you can just put it all around it, and it gives you a lovely effect. With me, I'm going to do a different thing entirely. And what I've got done is I've got a lot of runouts done with chocolate, and just to give you something else to do, such as these items here.
All right, yeah.
I've done all these here early with chocolate. Easy, you can type out any design you like. A wee tip in typing them out is you get a bit of paper and you draw your design on the paper the size you want it, and then you put your see-through grease paper down on your design and then draw it out if you're not much good. And that's an easy way of doing it. So you can do wee cats, anything at all, and then just let it go by.
Yep.
So this here gives me a nice straight edge on it. Going round the board with a cloth, just to, we'll be hiding that with piping anyway, so it doesn't matter. And what we can do now is we got a piping around the top.
Yeah, I would say to the students that the piping is a skill in itself. There's not a lot of people when they're using a piping bag, the cream comes out the top or it doesn't come out right. So there is a skill on doing that.
It's a matter of practice, and as an apprentice, I used to go alongside the lady decorator we called her Aunt Silly, and she used to have her piping bags and just throws them down to the side. She'd give me a wee tin, and then I'd be practicing on the tin. That's what I learned on a baking tin. But it takes a wee bit of time to do it. But practicing is all part of the fun, and it all tastes nice anyway at the end of the day. The best part about decorating at home, your mum and dad and partner and all not complain, as long as they're getting something to eat. Then we get our fancy decorations. Oh look, I made enough. And we get a few white ones. Usually when we're making these cakes here, we make in portions, because that's the way we sold it, in slices. So every slice had to be the same as the last slice, and you would have customers complaining. So that's the way we used to decorate it at all times. You can't do nicely fancy ones if it's just for a birthday party or whatever else you're doing. Put whatever decoration you want on. I'm breaking more than I'm putting on here. One more. Just to show you that it's Black Forest. And we have a nice cherries.
Whenever you were putting the cherries in the middle, could you use, the way you get the tin cherries in Kirsch or whatever it is, could you use that as well?
Yes. In decorating the cake, you use your own ideas, and that's where you get all the nice design people, creative designs. And you can do it that way. And then you can do your sides with these three decorations.
Oh, yeah.
See? Again, if you're doing it as a theme cake, you can, with the wee designs, you can draw out whatever the theme is. You can make people's names and let it harden on the greaseproof, and then slowly peel it off and stick it on. So you can do whatever you want on a cake. It doesn't necessarily have to be traditional. As I said before, it's because whenever I'm decorating cakes in the bakery, it was always for sale. So therefore, you had to make a cake that looks nice when you slice it, and the next slice is going to be the same. As you can see it coming together.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. At the end of the day, you can use whatever decorations you want to use.
Yeah, it's whatever is in your head, whatever you're making the cake for. You make the decorations to suit the occasion. As I said before, like happy birthday or somebody's name, or you can make this cake and have a nice wee christening thing on the top. The decorations all in there.
Yeah, I mean, you can make them more elaborate. The one that you're doing is just nice and simple. And what can the kids at school could easily produce that?
Yes, this one here would be easy to copy because there's nothing hard at all about it. Absolutely not. But except for the last wee thing, just to finish it off, just to represent my name, I put a nice big rosebud right in the middle. And there you have it.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Yeah.
So how long did it take to do that? So it's easy enough.
Yeah.
But again, it's up to yourself to get it well prepared before you even start, and have a wee idea in your head. And then as you go along, you can improvise. Say, oh, that would look nice. And that's how I decorate it. So that can be done in the slices.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. So whenever we come to do that, I think it's week 6 or something like that. So if the kids just reproduce that, then that would be good enough to cover the criteria, and it looks really, really good. When you come to week 12, then we'll have our showstopper week. You can maybe do something like that, a chocolate cake, but make it a wee bit more elaborate with the decorations. So you could do marble chocolate, you could use transfers and things like that. But the course goes on, we'll show you all that kind of thing, and we'll practice that before we get to the showstopper week. So that was good. So thanks, Jackie, in our studio in Hollywood, and that was really, really good. And thanks very much. Okay.
No problem. Hope you.
Yeah, I think I'll cut them off there, but no, it was really, really good. So hope you've enjoyed that, everybody. And don't forget, once we get back to normal, we'll be covering things like the Black Forest Gateau. I know it's a bit 70s, things like that, but you know, all these things are coming back in. You go into some of the nice cake shops down in London, for instance. They've got as my dad was saying there, you know, they have all the nice portions already made up with all the different layers and things like that. So, you know, these kind of cakes, Black Forest, they never really go out of fashion. They just get changed slightly or made a wee bit more trendy. But yeah, so that's really basically it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm away to have a couple of bits of cake. So bye.